Hey everyone, it's Melinda with Tailored and Teal, and welcome back to another What Sold video. If you're new here, I do these What Sold videos every 2 weeks, and I go over every single sale that sells on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay. And these are sales from September 16th through September 30th of 2022. So I finally had a sale on Mercari. It was a Karl Lagerfeld capsule mini perfume. So this was a little bit more than just a sample. It was like 0.17 fluid ounces, came in a little bitty container. It sold for $15, which was my full asking price. It was headed to Florida about 2 to 3 days before Hurricane Ian hit. So I was a little bit concerned that, it wouldn't get to this destination, but it did. The customer did have to evacuate their home, but they were able to come back and they rated me 5 stars. Thankfully, it got there safely and the customer was also safe. And if you've been affected by Hurricane Ian, my thoughts and my positive energy are headed your direction. I was obsessively watching the track of the hurricane because I know many resellers that are down there and also friends and family. So my heart goes out to you if you are affected. And for those of you who weren't affected, count your blessings for sure. All right, so moving on to Poshmark, where I had 18 sales. So the first sale on Poshmark was on September 16th, and it was actually a bundle of wearable jewelry. It was a lot of 8 silver tone necklaces and a lot of 5 wearable necklaces. These were all kinds of colors, all kinds of styles, vintage to modern, and I sent the customer an offer of $28 for both of them, and they accepted. The next item was a Norton McNaughton tweed blazer. It was purple and black in color, and it was a size 12. It was actually given to me for free. My mom found it at a thrift store for a very reasonable price, I think like under $1, and it sold for $15. Next is a Calvin Klein New Tags Cobalt Blue off-the-shoulder bell sleeve dress. It was a statement piece for sure. Definitely could wear this to a wedding or a very fancy event. I was asking a lot for this dress, mostly because the MSRP was really high. I knew that it could sell for a higher price. It was a size 22W, and finally it sold for $56. I think I originally was asking $75, so perfectly happy with this offer, and I got 5-star feedback, and she said that she's absolutely obsessed with the dress. Next is a Jessica Simpson beige nude Mickey zip around wallet or wristlet. I sourced this off of ThredUp's outlet center, and it sold for $15. Next is a metal scalloped stretch belt. I do think that this was vintage, but there was no markings on it, so I couldn't say for sure. This came out of a Jomar box of belts. I love selling belts. They're easy to ship, easy to store, easy to photograph, and most people need belts. So this sold for $10. I did pay up a little bit for the belts in the Jomar box, so I only ended up making a profit of $3.18, but the belt was a little bit scratched and a little bit beat up, but I did say that it could be great for a Halloween costume, so maybe that's what the customer is using it for. So the next 3 sales were by a new user on Poshmark that they didn't really understand bundling, which I totally understand because it is not easy to navigate when you want to buy multiple things. In fact, it's been so long since I've signed up for Poshmark, I don't even know if they give you like a little tutorial before you start shopping. So this customer had sent me offers on 2 different items. I accepted them, not really realizing that it was actually the same buyer. So they purchased 2 items, paid for double shipping. So when I was trying to communicate with the customer within a bundle, I was telling her that if you have more items that you like, add them to a bundle, and then I will send you a final bundle price at the end. That way it'll save you in shipping and I'll give you a great deal. So the first 2 items that she sent me offers on that I accepted, and she paid double in shipping, was a lot of 3 Chico's statement necklaces. Those sold for $25. Next was a Nakamol New Tags faux turquoise and brown beaded bib style necklace. This came out of a Goodwill jewelry lot, and it sold for $29. And then the customer got the idea and bundled 5 necklaces together. They were a brassy leaf amber beaded dangle necklace, a pastel faceted beaded lariat gold tone necklace, a GSJ glass beaded 925 sterling silver statement necklace, a silver, gold, and black mini ball braided necklace with a tassel at the end, and a vintage gold tone cat or kitty moving articulated necklace. And all of these sold together for $70. That was an offer that I sent to the customer. I also offered free shipping on this bundle because she had already paid double shipping. My cost of goods for these necklaces are usually pretty low, so I was willing to not only give her a great deal, but also pay for the shipping, and she accepted, and I did get 5-star feedback on all 3 items. I hope the next time she purchases on Poshmark, she gets the rhythm of it a little bit more. I do think that that's one thing that Poshmark can do better, is more of an introduction or tutorial on how to actually purchase and bundle items on Poshmark if you're a new user. Next was a day trip green plaid button front blouse. This was a size extra small. It sold for $8. I did lose money on this. This came out of a reseller mystery box. When I first started reselling, I trusted a lot of reselling YouTubers, and maybe I shouldn't have. In fact, I know I shouldn't have. So this was an item that came out of one of their mystery boxes, and I paid $6.63 for it, but I've had it since mid 2019, so I was just happy to let it go and lose money on it. Next is a Schutz Vicky leather wraparound heeled sandal. I think I sold one of these in my last What Sold video, or maybe the one before. This came out of my bulk wholesale box and they sold for $50. Next is a pair of Elderwear Tom Sawyer gray corduroy pants with reinforced knees. I believe this particular brand makes kids' school uniforms, so I was easily able to find the style name and a little bit of information about it. This came out of a ThredUp men's rescue box and it sold for $12. Next was a pair of World Market chandelier green earrings that I won in a giveaway on Whatnot. However, I did purchase several more items from this seller, so I did add this into my cost of goods because it made my cost of goods a little bit lower than what they would have been. So I paid about $2.47 and they sold for $12. And they sold within a few days of me listing them. Next is a false graph floral bunny bank. This was in the Cape May pattern. I picked this up at a local thrift store. I paid $3.99 and it sold for my full asking price of $22, and it's nowhere near Easter. So don't be afraid to list holiday items all year round because they do sell. Next is a Pilcrow and the letterpress blue leather clutch. I purchased this again from ThredUp's outlet center the same time I bought the Jessica Simpson wristlet, and it sold for $19 with discounted shipping. The next sale was a vintage 1984 German children's songbook. The title of it was Liebe Sonne, Liebe Erde, which stands for Dear Sun, Dear Earth. And I did look up how to pronounce that in German, so hopefully I did okay. I picked this up at an estate sale where the person had all different types of German books. In fact, if I knew anything about German books or how to speak German, I probably would have purchased the whole bookshelf just because there were a lot of old books, like probably even antique books. But I didn't, and I was worried that I would get stuck with them for a long time. So this one sold for $13 and I only paid $1 for it. So perfectly happy with that. Next was an origami owl black chain necklace with all kinds of different charms in it. This came from my Goodwill blue box and it sold for $14. Next is my last wool hat from my bulk wholesale box. This was the brand Lack of Color. It was new with tags and it was the melodic fedora in ivory. This did have some staining on the bottom rim that I did my best to clean, and it sold for $65. These hats do pretty well on Poshmark, especially new with tags. Even pre-owned, they do pretty decent. So if you ever find this brand in the thrift store, I would definitely look up comps to see if it's worth picking up. And then the last sale was a Universal Thread Dusty Pink 100% Lyocell utility shirt. This came out of a ThredUp mixed item rescue box and it sold for $12. So of my 18 sales on Poshmark, I had $475 in sales, $99.45 in fees. I gave out $16.27 in shipping discounts, giving me a profit of $359.28. And my average sales price for each item that sold was $26.39. And moving on to eBay, where I had 19 sales. The first item was another Whatnot giveaway item that I won, but again, I put it into my spreadsheet as if I paid for it to make the cost of goods lower. It was a charming Charlie I've tried saying that 4 times already and it's very hard. Charming Charlie blue glass beaded silver wire multi-strand necklace. If you know Charming Charlie at all, their stuff doesn't retail for much. So I was very surprised when it sold in one day for $11.75. Next was a metallic blue stretchy sleeveless popcorn shirt. This was one size, super stretchy, and I did put the keyword Y2K in it, and it sold for $15. And this came out of my America's Thrift Supply micro bale, and it sold within a few days of me listing it. Next was an Apartment 9 stretchy crinkle pleated red ruffle button front blouse. This also came from my micro bale and it sold for $7.50. I think I had it listed for about $15, but the customer kept sending me super low offers and finally I gave up and just said sure. So it sold for $7.50. Next is an item that I've had for quite a while. I sourced it off of ThredUp, not their outlet center, just their regular site. It was a new with tags Stockman Leathercraft kangaroo leather woven belt. You heard me right. It is made out of kangaroo leather. It is Australian and it sold for $40. Next is a J. Crew black and white striped fit and flare dress. This was a very thick knitted dress and it sold for $4.50 and I've had it since 2019. Next is a pair of leggings that I got out of a ThredUp mixed item rescue box. And surprisingly, this brand that I've never heard of before until I got these leggings can actually do pretty well. This was the brand Nayama Soul. And it was an ombre pink and blue leggings. I think there's a specific name. I'll put the picture up here. And it sold for $23. I did have them listed a lot higher, but I think that sales were low that day, so I just went ahead and accepted it. And my cost of goods was pretty low for it since it came from a ThredUp rescue box. Next is a Logo by Lori Goldstein gray shark bite hem hoodie. This was a size extra small, so I was a little hesitant about picking it up in the thrift store because usually Logo by Lori Goldstein does better in bigger sizes, so like a large and up, but this sold for $15.35. Next is a free to me item. It was a Gilligan and O'Malley black empire waisted V-neck ruffled trim sleep shirt. This brand is sold at Target. It was free to me. I just decided to list it for a low cost and it sold for $7. Next is a glass beaded crafting lot. In the beginning of this year, I purchased a glass beaded jewelry lot that I thought was actually going to be, necklaces and bracelets, but a lot of it was actually new unused beads just strung like they normally would come from a craft store. I don't really make jewelry, so I had no need for it. So I listed it as a crafting lot and it sold for $15. Next is a bangle bracelet by the brand Melix. This came out of my Via Trading Amazon jewelry lot. This was either a quote or I'm assuming a lyric from the Allman Brothers, and this went internationally to Canada and they purchased it for $10.19. Next is a new with tags Rafaela Desert Romance Georgia Peach Boho Peasant Blouse. That was exactly what it said on the tag. It sold for $4.75. I've had it since mid-2019. I only paid $1.99 for it, so I did still make a little bit of money, but happy to see that old item go. Next is another item from 2019. It was an Allen B multicolored striped sleeveless blouse, and it sold for $4.50. Next, we have a lot of two Jody 2-hook beige nude bra extenders. These were free to me. I honestly was just gonna donate them because the comps just weren't there, but I listed them for about $5. Someone sent me an offer for $3.25, and because it was a free to me item, I made $3.18 after all of the fees and shipping and everything. Next was a handmade beaded 3D lady pin brooch. It was signed on the back by the artist and it had a specific date on it. This I purchased from Whatnot and it sold for $10. Next is a faux buffalo horn oval chain adjustable ribbon necklace. This came from a ThredUp 15-piece jewelry rescue box. I put the keywords faux buffalo horn because when I did a Google image search, that's exactly what came up is buffalo horn, but it was definitely acrylic. So I did use those keywords and it sold for $15.
Hi, Editing Melinda here.
I recently put on a 15% off coupon on my eBay store, and I'm not used to seeing how that comes up on my dashboard. So you'll see a few of these listings that I'm going to be putting up do not match what I say they sold for in the video. I will notate if the customer used a coupon or not. And there's also a dress that I said sold for $11.75. That's actually what the customer paid for in shipping and not the actual price. So the customer paid $5.09. But I'll also put a picture up with the edited amount. Sorry about that. Next is a pair of Ann Taylor factory brown modern fit dress pants. I paid $1.50 for these back in 2019, and they sold for $5.99, which was my full asking price because I lowered a lot of old items down to that price point. Next is another blouse to sell from my America's Thrift Supply micro bale. It was a Max Studio black, yellow, and white plaid high-low blouse. It sold for my full asking price of $14.99, and I think it sold within a day or two of me listing it. And this is a blouse I actually thought twice about listing because I just didn't really like how it looked, but I'm glad I listed it. That's why I try not to be super judgy with my items. I'll list whatever because you never know what someone is looking for. Next is a pair of jeans that I got out of a ThredUp denim rescue box, and they are actually custom made jeans. So it's the brand Sene, so that's S-E-N-E, and I believe it was a collaboration with Emma Lovewell or something like that. And it was the bleached sky distressed skinny jeans with a high rise. They sold for $24, and these are pretty expensive on their website, so I was happy with that offer. And the last sale was a handmade brown and green leaf print modest midi dress with a cropped jacket. This was given to me from my mom. I think she wore it a couple of times. I definitely put the keyword modest because it did have the jacket and it was also midi length, and it sold for $11.75. So of my 19 sales on eBay, I had $243.52 in sales. I made a shipping profit of $39.71 because what I charge the customer is actually a little bit more than what I pay through eBay's discounted shipping. Fees were $64.66, giving me a profit of $218.57, and my average sales price for each item that sold was $12.82. Quite a difference from Poshmark's 26 and change, but I'm happy with any average sale price at this point. So of my total 38 sales, I had $733.52 in sales. Fees were $142.91. My cost of goods this time was $170.03, giving me a net profit of $420.58, making my cost of goods per item that sold was $4.47. And please know that when I say net profit, I'm not including income tax, other taxes, business expenses, etc. That is basically just the sale price minus the fees minus the cost of goods, and that's what I'm walking away with. That is the easiest way that I have found to get my numbers across to you all so you can see what a part-time reseller really earns. Thank you for tuning into this video. If you're not subscribed, we would love to have you here, so you can hit that subscribe button if you'd like. And if you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up before you leave, I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye.